everyone, this is a Nocturne guide video. This video will include abilities, masteries, matchup, item build, skill order, tips. If you're ready, let's watch now. Nocturne passive. Every 14 seconds, Nocturne's next attack strikes all nearby enemies for 20% of his physical damage and restores 1540 per target hit. Nocturne's attacks reduce this ability's cooldown by 1 second, increased to 3 against champions and jungle monsters. Now, this is a Q ability. Nocturne throws a Shadow Blade, which deals physical damage, leaves a dusk trail, and causes champions who are hit to also leave a dusk trail for 5 seconds. While on the trail, Nocturne ignores unit collision and has movement speed and attack damage. Next step is a W ability first passive. Nocturne empowers his blades, permanently gaining attack speed. Active. Nocturne creates a magical shield for 1.5 seconds, which will block the next enemy spell that hits him. If an ability is blocked by the shield, his passive attack speed is doubled for 5 seconds. If Shroud of Darkness is active, when Nocturne recasts Paranoia to dash to a target, it'll stay active until Nocturne reaches his target. Now E ability Nocturne plants a nightmare into his target's mind, dealing damage each second for total over 2 seconds and fearing the target, causing them to run away from Nocturne with impaired movement if they do not get out of 465 range by the end of the duration. Nocturne also gains massively increased movement speed when moving toward feared targets. Ultimate. Nocturne reduces the sight radius of all enemy champions and removes their ally vision for 6 seconds. This includes champions, minions, wards, towers, and clairvoyance. He can then launch himself at an enemy champion, dealing physical damage. And now next step is masteries. Look at the Nocturne rune page. The champions that appear now, Evelynn, Udyr, Jax, Xin Zhao, are strong against Nocturne in most stages of the game. And now these champs are weak against Nocturne at most phases of the game. Warwick, Sejuani, Gragas, Nidalee, Kindred. Now, it's time to talk about item sequencing. To start with, you can go for Moss Tomper Seedling, Health Potion, and Stealth Ward. Afterward, in the early game, you might want to opt for Pickaxe and Boots. Following that, the item build looks like this: Stridebreaker, Plated Steel Caps, and Black Cleaver. Once you've acquired these items, you can transition to the full item build with Death's Dance, Guardian Angel, and Maw of Malmortius. Nocturne's strengths and weaknesses. Strengths: Nocturne is a great assassin who can spring out on anyone who walks alone around the map. This makes his pick potential incredibly high. Has a fast and healthy clear. This makes him a jungler who can hold their own and farm up a storm and get their item and level power spikes relatively fast. Nocturne is easy to learn and doesn't take hundreds of games to learn like some champions in the game. Weaknesses. He is really difficult to play when the enemy team is grouping together. Nocturne wants enemies to split up so he can use his ultimate Paranoia R to pick them off. Cannot really gank until level 6, as he generally uses the element of surprise to make his ganks more successful. Nocturne is super squishy and gets blown up in team fights quickly, even with his Shroud of Darkness W. This makes it difficult for him to fight unless he's ahead.